So welcome back. My name is Kara Adams, and again, I am so excited about all of your comments and all of your questions. It means that something I'm saying is sticking, and that it's not just about living your best life. It's not just about loving yourself, but it's everything. It's the totality of it all. It's putting it all together. And in our first love workshop, lesson number 1, it was really all about the why. Why is it important for you to love yourself? Why does it make any difference in the world if you're transparent to other people and if your loved ones know truly who you are and how to love you? We got through that first why, and now it's really time for us to get into the meat of it, into the nitty-gritty, into the what. What do I need to do in order to be able to harness my newfound love, to be able to harness putting myself first and showing myself magnificent self-love? Well, that is what we're going to do today. So once again, just to tell you a little bit about myself, I am the author of Hidden Treasure, 5 Steps to Transformational Self-Love. I am a motivational speaker, I am a wife, I'm a mom, and I am living literally my best life. And it didn't come easily. I've had a lot of ups and downs. I got some really great advice along the way, and I had a friend tell me I should really journal my life, that I don't have to do anything with it. I don't have to share it. I don't have to turn it into a book. And now look, I'm an award-winning author, all because I didn't let my fear stop me. I recognized that I was a messenger and that I had a story that was powerful and that could connect to women and men everywhere. And really, that's my life's purpose. My life's purpose is to give a roadmap, give the 5 steps to how you can also transform your life and live the life you were meant to, live the life God intended for you. And so we, we'll just jump right in like, I like to do. And we're really going to talk about the steps. So, I wish I had 2 weeks to spend with you creating the videos, but I'm going to give you kind of a brief synopsis, but enough that you can actually take what I'm talking about, apply it to your life, and have transformation really as soon as today. So now we're going to really kind of dive into the 5 steps to transformational self-love. So the first one, which I talked about in the previous video, are your eruptions. These are the major events that have happened to you in your life that have forever changed who you are because of them. It could be, that you were abused as a child and it changed who you saw yourself as being. It could be that you were passed over for that job that you desperately knew that you deserved and didn't get. It could be falling out of love or having a spouse or somebody that you love fall out of love with you. And, it could be like divorce, somebody leaving, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a child. Whatever that major event is that happened to you, there were things that you said about yourself. There were things that you lived into because of that loss, because of that eruption. And I'll say, for me, when I was diagnosed with cancer, I told myself that I wasn't worthy because I could no longer produce at the same level that I could before I was sick. I thought that if I couldn't bring in 6 figures, that I wasn't worthy of the love of my husband and my son. And it stems from conversations that I've had with myself, that internal, that little voice constantly telling me I wasn't enough. I couldn't possibly ever be enough. I wouldn't be pretty enough for my husband. I wasn't going to be a good enough mom for my son, and I was going to screw him up in some way. There were these eruptions that happened, And then the things that I told myself, the rocks I placed on my soul because of those things that happened. There was nothing that I did to get cancer. You know, sometimes bad things happen to good people, but we still attach meaning to them, and we create this negative force within ourselves because of that thing that happened. And so you have the eruption that happened, and then you have the rock that began to weigh you down, and then you start to notice and you start to feel that you're in this super deep, dark place where you feel like no one could possibly understand your hurt. I had, in the matter of a year, where I found out my husband had cheated on me, my best friend had died from breast cancer, that I was being laid off, the whole department was being laid off from our job, from my job, that I, was dealing with trauma with my family and loss with my family. All of this happened at one time. And for me, like, I got to the place where I couldn't hold it anymore. I couldn't do it by myself anymore. That I was having a breakdown. Or was I? Was I having a breakdown? Or when you're that low, are you having a breakthrough? Because what I did, I sought help. I went and I found a support system. I found a counselor that I could talk to. My husband and I went to group counseling. I went to grief counseling. I really began to work on myself because I knew I couldn't do it by myself. I was so low and my thoughts were I was in such a depression and my thoughts were so negative that I knew that I couldn't continue the same old. I had to get better. I had to get better for me. I had to get better for my husband. I had to get better for my son, but I had to get better for me. I know that somebody is listening to this and they're feeling the same way, that same feeling of depression, of loss, of that you can't control anything that's happening around you. And I want to say that is the furthest from the case, that you are beautiful, that you are enough, that you can do it. You just have to believe. You have to believe you can. So that third step in the system, for me, that I recognized was support. You have to get the help of others. It can be a doctor. It can be a safe person in your life that feeds love and light into you. It could be whoever you believe in. I believe in God. He helped me through my darkest time. But for you, it could be anything. It could be a higher power that you believe in that gets you to that next level. So now you recognize you've needed help. Now you've gotten help. What's next? It's the work. It's the recognizing you have fears and pushing through those doors, those creaky, dark, wooden doors to get through that place of courage, to be the person that you're supposed to be. The work is waking up every day and finding things to be grateful for. The work is stop checking off the box. I had a boss who at the time I thought, man, this person is on me. They are on me tough. I can't do anything right. I don't understand. But what I saw after, and what I really took in after that experience was over, was that I was checking off a box. I wasn't living in my purpose. I wasn't doing the thing that God put me on this earth for. So like I would do my work and I'd be like, my 80% is better than most people's 100%, is how I thought. And so, I didn't give it my all. I didn't take the time to double check and triple check and make sure that the words that were supposed to come out, that the feeling, that the action that was supposed to come out was the best that I could possibly do. And so now my work is making sure when I write a book, when I write a blog, when I do a video, that I'm giving you the best of me. Doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, because that's not what I'm striving for. I'm striving for the best that I can do. I'm striving to hear the message from God, from my higher power, from the place that drives me, to make sure that I am delivering the best I can to you. And so that fourth step in the 5-step system is do the work. Be present. Make the hard call. When your husband or your wife is acting absolutely insane, the work is not to say, it's okay, they're acting insane. The work is sitting them down and saying, your behavior is affecting me in this way, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel like you don't care when you say that it doesn't matter. It's being transparent with your loved one so that they don't have to guess what you're thinking. The work is allowing yourself to be uncomfortable, allowing yourself to push through the barriers that everyone told you you couldn't do, but that you knew in your heart of hearts you could. I never in a million years thought I was going to be an author. People told me all the time, you can't write, you're not a writer, you don't even proofread what you write. But that was the furthest from the truth. When you're in your purpose and you're listening and you're taking in what the environment, what the atmosphere, what your surroundings are feeding into you, and you're putting that on paper and you're giving it 100%, you can't do it wrong. You can't fail. What I'm doing, what I'm speaking into you, I can't fail, because it's coming from a place of sheer passion. It's coming from a place of purpose. I know I'm supposed to talk to you. I know I'm supposed to tell you you can do better, you can be better, because you are better. I know it. And so the great part, I won't say it's the easy part, but the step 5, it's the polishing. You know, when you have a beautiful jewel, when you have a diamond, it comes rough, it comes uncut, and the work is cutting it. The work is polishing it. The work is presenting it to the world. So when you're polishing who you are, it's standing up in your greatness, recognizing that you're who God intended you to be when you're at your best, when you're being transparent, when you're living a life you love, a life you enjoy, a life that you have no regrets in. That is who you're supposed to be. When you're polishing you and you're standing in your light, there's nothing that people can tell you that will change the direction you're going to go, when you know that that's where you're supposed to be. And I'm here as witness to that fact. I had all sorts of people tell me why I shouldn't do what I was going to do, why I shouldn't write the book, why I shouldn't publish the book, why I shouldn't put a workshop together so that I could develop greatness in other people, develop love and magnificent self-love in other people. So the polishing is taking who you know you're supposed to be and putting that person in the forefront, letting that person's light shine, letting your light shine, allowing yourself to be transparent so that people get to know and get to love the real you, the you that is standing in front of them. So like I said, I was going to just touch on the 5 steps that you can tell I'm so passionate about. But I want to go deep into one of the steps that could truly make the most transformation in your life today. That second step is really that rock step. It's replacing the rocks that have attached to your soul. It's replacing the self-doubt. It's the replacing, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough. It's replacing that negative self-talk with something that will propel you into who you're supposed to be. So I want you to take a couple of minutes and I want you to think about, who have you been because of what has happened to you? What baggage, what rocks have you carried with you through life because of the things that have happened to you? And I want you to do more than just think about it. This is your turn to write it down and to take it from something that's in here and move it to something that transfers into your heart and out of your spirit. So I want you to grab a piece of paper and I want you to write down all of the negative, ugly, hurtful things that you say about yourself when no one else is listening. Okay, now that you've had a chance to write those down, or at least think about them, I want you to think about the top 1 or 2 that have been circling around your life and around your spirit your entire life. For me, the thing that kept spiraling, the voice, the communication, the conversation that little voice inside would have with me was that I wasn't enough. That no matter how hard I tried, somebody would figure out I wasn't enough. That no matter how much education I got, how high up the ladder I got, someone would figure out that I was faking it and that I wasn't meant to be special. So I want you to think about that top 1, 2, or 3 things, that top conversation that plays over and over and over again in your head when you're about to try something great, when you're moving through your fear, that thing that stops you. I want you to write down those rocks. I want you to write down the baggage, and I want you to circle that top 1, the one that constantly plagues you, that constantly pulls at you when you're trying to live in your greatness. So I want you to do something crazy. Okay, maybe not that crazy. But what I want you to do is take all of the reasons why you can't, everything you wrote down, all of those negative thoughts that you had in your brain, and I want you to turn them into, I will and I can because. So I want you to take the top 1, 2, 3, whatever makes you feel good. And I want you to actually physically write down things that you can do today to get you closer to achieving that goal and that dream. So I want you to take 5 minutes to look at your list. Look at all the negative things you said about yourself. And then I want you to find 1 or 2 of them that really, really circle and really seem to be what rises up when you are at your most stressed. And I want you to add your goal. So what is one thing that is at the top of your list of the things that you want to do in your life? For me, one of those big things was traveling to Europe. I desperately wanted to go to Paris. And I just kept telling myself, I can't because it's too scary. I can't because I won't know how to get around. I'm not smart enough. I can't because I'm afraid I'm gonna get abducted. Anyone who knows me knows that used to be my big thing. I'm not putting that out in the world. And so you see how my can'ts, that I'm not enough, I'm not smart enough, fed into why I could never achieve my dream of going to France. Crazy, but we do it every single day. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your I can'ts and I want you to match them up with I want, I will, I'll do. I'm going to France. And then I want you to give yourself 3 things that you can do today to get you closer to that dream. For if you're like me and you want to travel abroad and maybe they speak a language that you don't speak, one of the things you can do today is buy Rosetta Stone, start to learn the language. You can research more about the cuisine. You can take a cooking class. You can start to save money so that you can save for your trip. You can go to meetup groups And maybe the meetup group is for people who love to travel abroad. There are things that you can do today to turn your I can't into I can and I will because. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to spend the next couple of minutes transitioning from your I can't, from your place of you're not enough, whatever your struggle is inside, to I can and I will because, to finally ending at 3 things you can do today to get you on the journey and on your road to achieving your goals. Now, I know some of you are thinking, it's just, what happens if I achieve my dream and I'm still not happy? What happens if I try my hardest and I only get 80% along the way? People will laugh at me. People will make fun of me. People will say, I told you you couldn't. I'm here to say, who cares about those people? I'm here to say, who cares? You getting on the road to achieving your dreams is subconsciously telling yourself that you're worth it. You're worthy of having those dreams. You're worthy of self-love. Even if, let's say you only get 80% there, you were 80% further than you were before. It's funny, when I was writing my book, I had a writing coach, and she said, 95% of the people who set out to write a book never publish it. They never finish. And the difference in those 5% of the people who finished their book is they took action and they didn't let the negativity, those negative thoughts, win. They kept on until they achieved their dreams. And I'm so proud to say that I'm in that 5%. And you can be too. So we already talked about the why it's so important to show yourself magnificent self-love, to quiet those voices, that little you that's always telling you that you're not enough, the little you that's always pulling you from achieving and being the person that you're meant to be. To the what exactly does it take, to the 5 steps that it takes transforming your own love for yourself. We went through the eruptions, the rocks that we place on ourselves, the support system, the people that lift us up and help us out of the darkness. We talked about the work it takes to be able to live a life you love and to be able to be transparent for the people that you love and that are around you and that you want to get to know you. That is so hard, to be truly yourself, to finally the relishing, the polishing, the being excited about the person who you truly are, being excited about your hopes and your dreams, no matter how high-fetched or how crazy other people might think they are. So we discussed those things. In lesson number 3, we're going to take it a step further, and we're going to get to the how. How do you live a life you love? How do you show yourself magnificent self-love? How do you live in your dreams and your purpose? How do you become the person you always wanted to be? So as you know, I love to connect. Please make sure to comment in the blog. I would love to hear what your hopes and what your dreams are. And I would love to see the action that you're taking to get there. You can, again, comment in the blog section, or you can go on my Facebook page, which is Love Hidden Treasure.